Welcome back, you guys. We're going to be looking at interval notation. This assignment on Delta Math is going to be optional, but I highly encourage you to do the assignment and get that extra practice in. This is something that I easily can reverse on myself without even thinking about it. And so if I reverse it, and I've been studying math and teaching math for how long, imagine how easy it will be for you guys to reverse it. Okay. All right, so if you're looking at my screen, you can see here I've made myself a table, and it's just to give me my reference of interval notation, okay? And I will upload this table for you guys in Canvas. That way you can print it, and I mean, you could glue it right in your notebook so you have that reference, okay? All right. And there's even a Desmos reference, which we're going to talk about in the next video. All right, so let's look here at what we're looking at in Delta Math. It says graph the interval represented in inequality notation on the number line. All right, so this is just some quick reminders about graphing. We talked about it with compound inequalities, but just in case you're just struggling, but it also will get you used to the features in Delta Math because they're not always easy the very first time, but then once you kind of get the hang of it, you're good. Okay, so it says click and drag to plot the line. All right, so I know if x is greater than 6, so I put my mouse cursor at 6, and I just click and I hold, and I wait until that arrow turns green, okay? And that's showing me that I've got x is greater than 6, so I've at least got the shading, not the shading of, not the open and closed circle, but I have the shade to the right for greater than. Okay, now greater than is an open circle. So this is the next step. You click on 6 and it changes it to an open circle. So that's how you do the problem on Delta Math. Then you just hit submit. Yes. Green check mark. Okay. All right. So that's what I'm not going to do any more of those. So let's go down here to number lines and interval notation because that's the next section of problems. Okay, so it says express the interval shown on the number line in interval notation. Okay, all right, they've got a lot of different things here. Now, interval notation is this right here. It's these first few buttons. Okay, it's not the less than or equal to, it's not those. Okay, that's inequalities. This is intervals. Okay, all right, so I know that I'm starting here at -4 and I'm going off to forever. So that is infinity. Okay, so I'm starting at -4. I'm going off to infinity. Okay, all right, so now I have to decide, well, which of these brackets am I doing? Okay, well, if I were to write that down, and let me just type it in so you can see it. Okay, this is x, hopefully you agree. Ooh, not 4. X greater than or equal to 4. Okay, that's the problem that is graphed up here. So hopefully you agree with that. Okay, I need to now convert that to these symbols over here on the left. Okay, all right, so it's really easy. So I go over here and I go to greater than. Okay, and I go all the way over here. All right, that's a bracket. Okay, so I need to know, I do know that I need a bracket. So I've got this one that's got a bracket on each side, a bracket and a parentheses, parentheses and a bracket, two parentheses. Okay, so it's going to be one of these three. Okay, then I go down here to infinity. Okay, I go all the way over here. Okay, and that's a parentheses. Okay, so let's delete that. So I want bracket, parentheses. So I want -4 next to the bracket because that gives me that greater than or equal to. And then here, I want positive infinity. Okay. All right, and I'll do a couple more of these so you can see what is happening here. Okay, so I picked a bracket because greater than or equal to indicated I needed a bracket. All right, and then I picked parentheses because infinity says that it needs parentheses. Okay, so submit. Yes. Green check. Okay, so parentheses for infinity, square bracket for number 4, because it is included. That's that or equal to, that closed circle, okay? And then you can see my answer. All right, let's do another one. All right, so graph the interval represented in interval notation on the number line. Okay, so now I got to represent what I got here. So I know I'm going from -10 to 8. So I'm going to put my cursor at -10, and I'm going to go to 8. Okay. All right, now I got to determine if I need open or closed circle. So I'm going to go over here and find parentheses. Okay. And parentheses is tied to a less than. Parentheses is tied to a greater than. Okay. But it's also tied to these open circles. Okay. So I can use my table in the other direction. So I know parentheses should have an open or closed circle. All right. So I'm going to just click on those and I'll make them open. Okay. Submit my answer. Yes. Green check. Okay. All right. New problem. All right, we're going to graph the interval represented in interval notation on the number line. Okay, so we're going from -1 to infinity. So I'm just going to do that part first. I'll worry about these parentheses afterwards because that determines my open or my closed circle. So -1, so I'm going to put my cursor right here at -1, and I'm going to infinity. Well, in positive infinity, because there would be a negative sign. So negative infinity goes to the left, positive infinity goes to the right. So -1, I'll put my cursor, I'm going to drag until it pops into a green arrow. Okay. All right, so that's my -1 to infinity. Okay, but it's got a parentheses here. So I go to parentheses. Okay, that tells me it should be open. So open. Okay. And then infinity, it's always a parentheses. If you look over here, infinity, it's always parentheses. And it's because you don't know where you're stopping. Infinity, am I stopping at infinity +1, infinity +2? I don't know where I'm stopping. Okay. So my answer, yes. There we go. All right, new problem. Okay. All right, graph the interval represented in interval notation on the number line. So -6 to -4. So -6, hold it down, stop at -4. Now, if you mess up, you just click on it. Oops, click on the line and it'll delete it. All right, so let me redraw that. -4, -6 to -4. Okay, bracket. Bracket should be closed. I have a bracket on this side, bracket, doesn't matter where I'm at. Bracket should be closed circles. Submit my answer. Yes, we're good. Okay. All right, good. I was hoping another one would cycle back through here because hopefully you're getting the idea. All right, express the interval shown on the number line in interval notations. Now I've got the number line. I need to convert it back to that parentheses or bracket. Okay. All right, so I've got 8. I'm going to the left, which means I'm less than, okay? And I'm going to negative infinity, okay? All right. Whew. So I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, how do I want to do this? But let's see what Delta Math will do. Okay, so I know I have an open circle. So let's go here, open. So I know I need a parentheses. Okay, and I've got an arrow here, which means I'm going off to infinity, which means I know I have a parentheses. So I know I have this. So parentheses, parentheses, okay? Parentheses, open circle, we got infinity, okay. All right, so this is, I guess you could write it two ways. So let's see what Delta Math would accept. So I know that I'm going from 8 to negative infinity. Now some of you might be looking at it going, why didn't you write negative infinity first to 8? Let's see what Delta Math will accept because I'm curious about what that will do. All right, so let's hit submit my answer. Yes. Okay, so it did mark it wrong. Okay. So I wrote it backwards. So they are very specific. I've seen it, and this is why I didn't explain myself because I'm recording this live. I've seen it both ways. Okay. And I've seen teachers mark it right. I've seen teachers mark it wrong. And I've seen teachers been like, I'll take it, but you really should have flipped it. Okay. So you should always put the negative infinity first. Okay. And then where the 8 is. Okay. So that's okay. That's okay that we messed that up because I really was interested to see if Delta Math would accept either or. Okay. All right. So to keep this video short, I'm going to do a part 2 on the other 2 parts of this interval notation.